Battle Through the Heavens. Grand World. Chapter 271 Elder Wu. Xiao Yan's cold words rang out in front of them like a thunderclap, waking everyone up in an instant. Xiao Yan had grabbed Zhuang He's wrist. Zhuang He's face turned gloomy, and when he heard what Xiao Yan said, his expression changed. He wanted to pull his wrist back, but he found that Xiao Yan's hand was as hard as steel, firmly holding his wrist. He was unable to break free from Xiao Yan's grip. Crack! Seeing that the captain and Xiao Yan had a conflict, the surrounding students on patrol were shocked. They quickly moved forward, each of them holding a long black spear. They nervously surrounded the few of them. Jin Wei and the others looked at Xiao Yan with dumbfounded expressions on their faces. After that, they subconsciously looked at the broken ropes on the ground beside them. This was a special beginner-level spirit weapon made by the execution team of the academy. It could even bind an emperor. Just now, this guy was able to break free with just his physical strength. Who exactly are you? Zhuang He's face turned ugly and his eyes were filled with coldness. He glared at Guyuan and Xiao Yan, then turned his eyes to Xiao Yan. His heart was in turmoil. How could a mere monic spirit have such powerful strength? How could he not have the strength to fight back in front of him? Xiao Yan's eyes swept across the surroundings. He saw a few patrolling students rushing into the academy. They were probably going to report to those big shots. When he thought of this, Xiao Yan also smiled. He did not answer Zhuang He's question. He tilted his head slightly and said, "Father, Uncle Zhu, don't interfere." Guyuan and Zhu smiled and nodded when they heard this. Immediately, they turned a blind eye to Zhuang He's gloomy gaze and retreated one after another. As the two of them walked, the patrolling students surrounding the crowd all had nervous expressions as they stared at the few of them. Don't let them leave alone. Guyuan and Zhu Kun have bad intentions. They're trying to protect the intruders. It is difficult to redeem them. When Zhuang He saw this, he shouted out loudly. His voice resounded across the entire empty space, and echoed in the air. Xiao Yan frowned when he heard this. He glanced at the former and slowly let go of the hand that was holding his wrist. Zhuang He immediately let out an angry cry when his wrist was released. The origin monic chi on his hand surged wildly and smashed towards Xiao Yan's chest. It was filled with killing intent. Xiao Yan let out a cold snort and turned a blind eye to Zhuang He's attack. His right arm stretched out like lightning and hit Zhuang He's chest before he could do anything. The fist hit the latter's body in an ordinary manner. Zhuang He's palm suddenly paused. In the next moment, the latter had already staggered backwards with an ugly expression on his face. He was no longer as unrestrained as before. Bending down and picking up the trial scroll, Xiao Yan sighed and said somewhat helplessly, "Whether you are stupid or not, I already said it. I told you to take a look at this scroll first." Zhuang He took a few steps back before stopping with great difficulty. His expression was extremely ugly. He felt the pain in his chest and was so angry that he almost went crazy. After entering the academy for so many years, not only was he the captain of the execution team, he was also a top expert in soaring dragon rankings. Today, he was actually slapped in the face by a monic spirit. Although he was furious, Zhuang He did not throw caution to the wind. He looked at Xiao Yan with a gloomy gaze and denied the idea of having all the patrolling students surround and attack the latter. This fellow's strength was much stronger than his own. It was impossible for these students who had just entered the inner courtyard to harm him. After hearing Xiao Yan's words, Zhuang He glanced at the scroll in the former's hand. A familiar feeling surged into his heart, but under the influence of his furious mood, he thought deeply. With a cold snort, Zhuang He retracted his gaze. His expression was cold. Just as he was about to speak, Xiao Yan's figure flashed and rushed towards Zhuang He. The latter was startled. Just as he was about to dodge, Xiao Yan had already arrived in front of him. His hand was like an iron claw that ruthlessly grabbed Zhuang He's shoulder. The force was so great that Zhuang He was unable to move at all. Also, my name is Xiao Yan, not an intruder. Xiao Yan looked at Zhuang He coldly and spoke in an indifferent tone. No one knew where this guy came from, but he had a superior and arrogant attitude. He was really annoying. Go to hell. Being easily controlled by Xiao Yan, the veins on Zhuang He's forehead bulged. He suddenly punched out with his fist, bringing along a fierce whistling sound as it hit Xiao Yan's abdomen. Xiao Yan furrowed his brows, and a cold look flashed across his eyes. Then, he forcefully grabbed Zhuang He's shoulder with his palm. The heavy force caused the latter to let out a cry of pain. Xiao Yan's left leg suddenly fell and sent Zhuang He flying. He violently smashed onto the ground not far away. Captain. Seeing that Zhuang He was sent flying by Xiao Yan once again, Jin Wei could no longer hold himself back. Just as he was about to dash forward, he was stopped by Zhu Kun, who was standing beside him. When Jin Wei saw this, he became furious and was about to berate Zhuang He. Zhu Kun said coldly, "You were the ones who brought Xiao Yan here just now, right? He didn't make things difficult for you. It was already considered very good. I'm afraid that Zhuang He will be even more severely injured if we go out now." When Jin Wei heard this, he couldn't help but stop in his tracks. His face was filled with disbelief. Behind him, the few people who had come with Xiao Yan revealed a trace of fear on their faces. "Don't worry, this matter will be settled in the end. It won't have anything to do with you all." Guyuan turned his head and smiled at Jin Wei and the others. He said something that calmed them down. "Seniors, who is he?" Jin Wei's teeth seemed to be trembling. He looked at Xiao Yan and asked in fear. He is the same as. No. He will surpass Mu Yuyang in the future." Guyuan looked at Xiao Yan with a smile on his face. He had great confidence in Xiao Yan. After listening to Guyuan's words, Jin Wei couldn't help but be shocked. Mu Yuyang was a legendary existence in the academy, and none of them dared to look up to him. Who exactly was this Xiao Yan? Bastard! Bastard! Guards! Take him down! After being sent flying by Xiao Yan, Zhuang He could no longer remain calm. He struggled to get up from the ground and shouted furiously. His eyes were filled with fury, as if he was going to tear Xiao Yan apart. Hearing Zhuang He's words, the surrounding dozens of patrolling students were stunned. Then, they looked at each other in dismay. After witnessing Xiaoyan's strength, none of them dared to rashly step forward. "What, are all of you going to rebel?" Seeing that no one was moving, Zhuang He's expression was as gloomy as water, and he almost went crazy from anger. Xiao Yan looked at Zhuang He, who was pretending to be crazy, and pursed his lips. He didn't say anything. Hearing this, some of the patrolling students had ugly expressions on their faces. They gritted their teeth and finally shouted as they rushed towards Xiaoyan. "Stop!" Suddenly, a powerful voice sounded from the sky behind them. It seemed to carry a force that could shock one's mind, causing the patrolling students who had almost rushed forward to stop unconsciously. Everyone looked back. An old man with long hair, who was wearing a gray robe, had already soared into the sky and was looking down. When he saw Zhuang He's miserable appearance and everyone's actions, he had already understood a little. Immediately, he turned his gaze to Xiao Yan. "Zhu Kun, Guyuan, what's going on?" The gray-robed old man landed on the arena. His eyes stared at Xiao Yan and asked the two of them. These two were considered influential figures within the inner academy. Naturally, this matter today had something to do with them. Everyone felt relieved in their hearts when they saw the gray-robed old man. The originally tense atmosphere of the scene instantly scattered. Elder Wu, Guyuan and Zhu Kun's facial expression remained unchanged. They bowed slightly to the old man. Under the cold gaze of the old man, Guyuan said in a clear voice, "Zhuang He tried to stop the Saint rank trial participant from entering the courtyard. This crime should be punished. Elder Wu, please, investigate." As soon as the words left his mouth, Zhuang He's expression changed instantly. His ferocious expression immediately disappeared, and was replaced by endless astonishment. Saint rank trial participant. Elder Wu frowned when he heard this. His expression also changed slightly. His eyes flashed and he coldly snorted, "What a bunch of nonsense. In recent years, when has the Yunlo Academy ever had a Saint rank trial participant?" Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.